Ingrid Andress is ready to talk about the national anthem, my worst moment. After publicly botching the Star-Spangled Banner before the MLB's Home Run Derby last summer, the country singer went to rehab and emerged learning how to forgive herself. When Ingrid Andress sang the national anthem before a hockey game in Colorado last Friday, she was doing it to close a chapter of her career filled with shame, regret, and embarrassment. 7 months earlier in Texas, the country singer-songwriter spectacularly botched the Star-Spangled Banner before the MLB's televised Home Run Derby. She knows you saw it. "I am sorry you had to witness that horrific rendition of our nation's anthem," Andress says in her first interview since. "Whoever that was is not an accurate representation of who I am at all. You got to see me in my worst moment," she adds hopefully, "so now, everything from here will be great." That mid-July day in Dallas is somewhat of a blur for Andress. She arrived at the Texas Rangers ballpark, did a sound check, and started drinking. It wasn't much different from her other gigs, where she was accustomed to downing beverages to numb some unresolved feelings before taking the stage. "Up until then, I had never let it get in the way of my performance," she says. "I liked the numbness. That's part of how it got out of control." But this time, what was most bizarre to Andress before the Home Run Derby and a live audience of 40,000 was her indifference. "I just remember being like, I don't care," she says. "I felt so much like an object that it just didn't matter. I had completely missed the plot." Within her first few notes, it was clear that Andress' head was elsewhere. Her hair was messy, she was slurring her words, and she added off-tune vocal cracks and vibratos that quickly went viral on social media. By the end of the performance, Andress could be seen tilting her head down, wincing. Andress isn't here to explain the shoulders and shoulders, but she says she was so drunk that day that she missed the note given to her in-ear monitor, which should have guided the performance. "If I was not completely blacked out, I would have heard the pitch in my in-ear of where I was supposed to start," she says. "If you don't start on the note that it gives you, you're screwed. It was my voice fighting with the tuner, which is a losing battle." Andress knew it wasn't her best performance, but didn't immediately realize how bad it actually was. "I remember talking to one of my best friends on the phone after I got off the field. She was like, 'How'd it go?' And I was like, 'I think it went ok,'" Andress says. The next morning her team tried shielding her from the online backlash, and she believed that maybe the video hadn't spread as far as it did. But online posts about her performance were inescapable. Describing herself as hungover and disoriented, she flew back to Nashville, where her team suggested she draft a comment. "I didn't run that statement by anybody," she says. "I needed to let people know that it's not just this one incident that I messed up. I need to get better. I'm at such a low place, I'm not gonna lie about it." In her post, she added a dry humor joke about how rehab might be super fun. Some thought it was flippant, and it added fuel to the online fire. "It was snarky of me, but I also wanted me to still come through in the statement," Andress says. "I realize now how insensitive that came off."